Return everything to the void. Neo Exdeath. Folks, it's time for a little protects death action, if you will. So, I mean, what more do I need to say, right? It's a Neo Exdeath deck. Whole point of this deck is turn one, slam out Neo Exdeath, keep him alive no matter what, and say, hey, you lose the game because you can never play or do anything that will matter. So, if you, I'm pretty sure everyone knows what Neo Exdeath does at this point, but the short version is he basically requires your opponent to kill off one of their own characters' backups or forwards every turn, and if they choose him, they'll have to do that as well. So he will win the game by himself as long as you keep him nice and healthy. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, we want to make sure we see this guy turn one. This is absolutely an aggressive turn one Neo Exdeath deck. Of course, if it doesn't happen, I have played him as late as turn 2 or 3 before, after I got a few backups set up, and still gone on to win those games, but if you can get this guy out turn 1, all the power to you. How do you do that? 3 copies of our Echo backup. We'll search out any category Mobius forward. We've got a few other choices besides Exdeath, but obviously he's our prime target. The version you want to use the least is this Prish, because it allows both you and your opponent to search out a forward of 9,000 power or more. So if you have to do it, you know, you do it because it gets him, but just be aware this one's also going to give your opponent a card. The nice thing is, though, you will get to see what they search out, so you'll get an idea of what they're playing, and you at least know kind of what a threat coming is. You have 3 copies of Gabranth. This one's really nice, especially if you're going second, and I would highly recommend going second all the time in this deck for a few reasons. One, so for example, if you get Gabranth, you get an extra card to start in turn. So if you Gabranth, you pitch 2, play the Gabranth, that's going to take you from 7 to 4. Gabranth is going to go fetch out Neo Exdeath, and then you're going to lose 4 cards from that to get him on the field, so you're going to have 1 card left in hand. You still can technically do that going first, but another reason I like doing that second, aside from a few combos I'll show you later, your opponent is most likely going to put something down on their first turn, whether it be a backup or a forward. And some decks do have really good Neo Exdeath counters, so you want to go second because if you put him out second, at the very worst, even if they can kill him right away with 4-cost Bahamut that deals 10k, or a Nyx that breaks immediately, or an Odin, or whatever it is, they already have a backup on the field, so at the very least, Exdeath will at least take something out with him. Whereas if you go first and they have a really clean answer, they'll just clean answer him immediately, and then he got absolutely nothing of value. Going second, you're at least taking something down with you. Another way to get him out, our final way, is Tyro. I don't really like doing this one because, again, he's expensive. So turn 1, he's going to cost you 4 cards. He can get the Neo Exdeath. You can then still play it technically, but that will cost you your whole hand, assuming you're going second. So ideally, Echo or Gabranth are the 2, but even better if you just draw the Neo Exdeath. So we got a few new tools, and this is probably one of the most exciting ones, is this Wall. Wall will play any category Mobius forward to the field for free when he enters. So turn 1, if you have Mobius and Wall on the field, you pitch your 3, play Wall, drop the Neo Exdeath, boom, you're ready to go in, and now you've got 2 guys. Normally it's just Neo Exdeath by himself, but now you've got someone else there to help protect him. And in particular, a combo I really like with that is if you go second and you get both these guys in your hand with the Titan, you're obviously going to have the right CP colors to play it as well. But as long as you have an Earth, you'll get 7 cards, right? Pitch 3 for Wall, play the Wall himself, so that's 4, so now you have 3 cards left in hand. Play the Neo Exdeath for free, you have 2 left in hand. So as long as those 2 cards are Titan and an Earth card, you're probably going to win that game, because now, even if they do have an immediate response for Neo, the Titan can dull it to keep it from getting broken, which means the only thing that will cleanly get them out of that situation is a Shantoto or like a Veritas of the Dark. So beyond that, anything else, you're just going to be able to keep it alive, which is really nice. So, other ways to keep it alive, speaking of Shantoto, another great turn 1 play, if you don't see the Wall and you just have, if you have Neo Exdeath Y'shtola, 100% you dump your hand to put that out. Because I believe the only thing they can actually do to get out of that is Veritas. Veritas would come in, you'll have to sack 1 on entry, end turn trigger, they'll sack to Neo Exdeath, and then you'll have to sack the other one. But, other than that, Like, they can't Chantoda you, they can't Filia you, they can't hit you with a summon. Y'shtola is going to cancel all of that. So if you can turn one Y'shtola Neo Exdeath, almost absolutely nothing they can do about that. More protection, because one's just not enough. Unsaganashi. This guy is multi-playable, so feel free to put out multiple to just keep, picking the Exdeath, keep it alive. 3 copies of Mist Dragon can cancel any key summons they have, dump their break zone if they try to get too spicy on you, and they can even dull the Exdeath, make sure he doesn't receive damage, which is great. 3 copies of Dryad. She's a burst. She gets really strong at damage 5, although you're probably not trying to get there at this. And it's just a way to prevent abilities. Again, if they have a forward that breaks, they play the 7-cost Lightning to remove it from the game. Whatever it is, she's a really cheap way to come in and protect that. And 2 copies of Asura. Really good against decks that are going to try to ping him off, like Fire. And in particular, I also just like that it's a burst that draws a card in color, which is really good. And then 1 copy of the backup Lil. Cheaper CP, plus, again, maybe we can cancel a relevant summon. 3 copies of the new Sin. Haven't gotten to use this one a whole lot, but the potential is clearly there if you somehow got your backup line set up. Which once you slam out the Neo Exdeath, that's what you want to be doing, You don't need to just jam out more forwards. If you can, set up your backup line, because now you have more CP to help protect him with. Cancel any auto abilities, going to take out any board wipe. And then also, they can't use their action abilities on their turn, so if they're playing Monks or Stern Leonis, just completely shuts off all that during their turn. Another great target for Wool, Yasmat. Dropping Wool and playing 9 CP Yasmat for free feels great. You can do it in main phase 2 to reactivate anything that's attacked. Yasmat can just take out one of their big 5 costs, or if there's a monster that's bothering you, which is really nice. So it's just feels really good to play that for free. These are kind of the core parts of the deck, the stuff that like combos and protects. Beyond that, kind of just some one-off tech stuff that fits in colors, helps us out. Shadow Lord, I just love this card. It's another big beater, and being able to shut off EX Burst is very relevant, because some EX Burst will screw you over, so having a card that can do that is really nice. Also, I usually find it's really easy to circumvent his downside, because when they're playing against Neo Exdeath, chances are they're not just going to be slowly putting out, 2 CP backups. Prish, she's legit just there for color combinations. She can be pitched for Earth or Wind. Again, maybe her effects will come in handy if you need them. Graph, he's a Mobius forward, so he can be played off a wall if you have nothing better to do. Just a color fixer, help you push. Gudon, again, Earth and Wind, and he can attack twice, so if you can get him down alongside Neo Exdeath, you're really putting your opponent on the clock. They've got to do something right then and there. We didn't want to run the other Y'shtola because it's too important to get this Y'shtola out. 1 copy of Mog Mobius. He just fits in the Mobius category, and on occasion, I have had his power bump be relevant. Again, if they're using the Opus 6 Bahamut that deals 10k to Neo Exdeath, where they try to drop a Filia on your board, tapping the Mog to keep Neo Exdeath alive is pretty big. And then finally, 2 copies of Shantoto. You probably don't really want to ever have to use this card. The only time I've really found it relevant is if I'm also going against a really aggro deck. If they're playing Verstale or Doga, and turn 1, they've already dropped 3 forwards on me, then, and especially if I haven't seen Neo Exdeath, sometimes it lines up like, alright, well, just Shantoto your board away. And unfortunately, if you're just having a bad game, it's not going the way you want it to, and you're not able to keep Neo Exdeath alive, this is a way to help stabilize, to come back and say, okay, well, maybe I can do something about that. So yeah, that's the deck. It's very simple and straightforward. It's all about just get him out there, let him slowly win the game for you by yourself, keep him alive entirely, and again, playing him for free off of this wall just feels brutal, that you're getting 2 bodies for basically the price of 1, or the wall bringing in the Yasmat. So, this deck's kind of been around since Opus 12, since the Neo Exdeath came out, but we got a few new tools we can work with to make it that much spicier. So always looking for him in your opening hand or one of your searchers to get him out. I would recommend almost always going second. I can't think of a situation you would going to want to go first off the top of your head. Like I said, it's just more punishing to go second. But yeah, there you go. Maybe don't play this at your locals, especially if you've got more casual players. They will probably absolutely hate playing against this deck. But if you want to, return everything to nothing, job none, then this is the place for you. So let me know what you think and enjoy. Oh, he's coming for you. He's coming for you. Hide your forwards, hide your backups. He's going to get him. Oh!